Welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be testing the power of pulse miners because it has been brought to my attention that these things can be used in ways I never thought possible. So the genesis of this idea comes from Dystopios, who says you can propel dispensable blocks with the pulse miner extremely fast. They said to break the sound barrier. I don't know if that's going to be the main goal of this episode. I'm just going to do experiments. If we end up breaking the sound barrier, cool. But let's just see what these pulse miners are really capable of that I did not know previously. So let's start with a prototype here with the base idea, which is dispensable blocks apparently have there's some type of effect that the pulse miner will have on them. Let's start with a metal crate dispenser. Okay, so look at the difference. Well, if I hold it down and shoot, it goes really far. But if I tap it, oh, there we go. Okay, well, it's not like super fast, but maybe the heavy crate dispenser, maybe the heavy crates are too heavy. Let's try a beach ball dispenser. By the way, we're gonna try this with weapons too. I think this might have an impact on certain weapons, but whoa, that is a thing. So here's me launching, like I'm full charge, launching full speed, but let's tap it and then. That is insane. Whoa, that is insane. What does it hit? Is that the edge of the map? If I go this way, that can't be the edge of the map. Or no, that has to be hitting the ground or something. That's definitely, I don't think I've ever seen something go that fast in Trailmakers. Like I don't think I've ever seen something go that fast. Now, I don't think we'll be able to use that for propulsion of any kind, because I feel like that's just gonna go through whatever creation. All right, let's try some other dispensable things. Concrete wall dispenser doesn't work. I already know that because they become static objects. Dice. Okay, so here's full strength dice, and then here's pulse miner dice. Whoa! It had aerodynamics. It was like curved and it totally glided. That is so crazy. Okay, this is really fun already. If this works on like bombs or something. All right, beach ball, snowball dispenser. Let's see how this compares. So there's snowball. It destroys the snowball. It's too much for the snowballs. Let's go back to dice. I feel like dice has enough weight to be reasonable, but still be strongly affected. The beach balls they're too much. Does the small pulse miner have a different effect? Okay, it has an effect. It's like what you would it's what you would expect if this was the intended use of these miners. Is the big one does big thing and the small one does small thing. That's what we're seeing here. To be technical about it, big one strong, small one weak. The big one is like considerably stronger though. So we're gonna keep the big one there. All right, so now I have idea. Very basic idea. I want this thing to be angled upwards. That's too much. So we do this. Now we have upwards angle. Whoa! Let's make this a little bit more stable. Add some weight to it. There we go. Whoa! Okay, it's harder to time. All right, there has to be like an ideal timing for this. That is so cool. All right, now let's try. Does this work on projectiles? So we have like the piston method of launching things like bombs. Let's try the weapons. Let's try landmine dispenser first. So we'll have a landmine dispenser like out here. All right, let's try this with the pulse thing. Oh, it's gone. It's gone. Like it's so gone. What? Pulse miners are OP. This is so cool. That is actually insane. Okay, time to do some more. We need some more experiments. Okay. Torpedo launcher. Oh, the torpedo launcher, we could just like, it like launches it a little bit already, right? All right, let's see what happens under normal circumstances. It's an underwater, no, these can be launched. No, these are underwater. Oh, no, no, no. This isn't, these are actual underwater torpedoes. I was thinking the air to surface torpedo. This is what I was looking for. Underwater torpedoes can only be launched underwater. These things, if this thing can get launched, it's already so cool, like by itself. Like, that is so epic. I love this weapon. This is one of my favorite weapons. But let's see what happens if I use pulse miner. If the smoke can stop obstructing my view, please. There we go. Are you ready? It's so far. It's the farthest. Like, pistons can't do this. What does this not? Is there anything this doesn't work with? That's like, oh, this thing is. Oh, this thing. Oh, this thing. I don't know how this is gonna go. I'm so excited though. Uh-oh. All right, this one's a little bit heavier. Oh, go, 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 go. Okay, what if it's below? This makes sense, doesn't it? Ready? Oh, oh. Okay. Why does it miss? This, like, it's like it doesn't have collisions for like a split second. Oh. Is it too close to the pulse miner? Does it need to be farther away? Or is it a timing thing? Does it need like does it have like an activation time before it becomes a physical object? Yeah, it must be an activation time. Well, that's unfortunate for this one, because then you don't have that like good, like just instant launch. You could have the instant launch with the torpedo launcher, with the air to surface torpedo, but not that. Okay, now we got the depth charge. I don't know the best way to deal. Let's just have it be like this. This creation is getting weirder and weirder. All right, so so that's what would normally happen. Let's see what happens if we do. Okay, this one's a little bit different. Oh, it did something. The depth charge is a little heavier. Oh, that time I did it too soon, I think. This one's hard. Yeah, did you see it go forward? Like, I didn't even see the pulse miner thing. All right, here, let's try something different. Let's have it go with the direction of the pulse miner, like this. Depth charge is heavy. It's like considerably, I mean, it launches good enough like that, but yeah, you can kind of almost feel the weight of it now that I'm thinking about it. Okay, that can help. Okay, let's see. That gives more distance for sure. All right, let's we have a grid here. We can do this objectively. So if I do maximum normal, no pulse miner assistance, it lands on, there's a black line in front of me, then there's a second one, then there's a third one. It lands on the third black line. See that? So now let's add pulse miner assistance. That's like past the fourth line. Yeah, look at that. So that's like a, what, like a 35% increase in distance. Okay, it helps. Depth charges, not the biggest influence, obviously. All right, but now what about like a rocket or a gunpowder cannon? Like this stuff, I genuinely I don't really know. I don't know what to expect with this stuff. All right, now we need something there to attach it. All right, so we got normal rocket. I mean, it goes far, but can we increase the speed? All right, let's find out. Okay, I think it's faster than the pulse miner beam. That's not helpful. Okay, rockets seem, no. I'm just gonna say no to rockets. Doesn't seem to help. All right, what about gunpowder cannon? Is this useful? So there's normal gunpowder cannon. And here's, I actually genuinely don't know. There's that one. All right, let's take a look at where it is. It's right there. I'm looking exactly where it landed. And it's the same exact spot with or without pulse miner. So these explosive weapons so far, yeah, the rest of these are like normal projectiles. They seem to not be affected by the pulse miner, which is interesting. These are definitely not gonna be affected. Dynamite? I've created dynamite launchers before with like pistons. I'm like, what are they called again? Let's see what happens if I have I'm gonna have to have a detachable block, like right here. All right, so without pulse miner, hold on. The detachable block and the dynamite are on the same button. That's not gonna work. Once again, without pulse miner. Oh. No, is it not good? Oh, it's wiggling. You see it? It's wiggling. Is it just not far enough away, maybe? Let's see. I really thought this was gonna work. Based off of everything else that was happening, I really expected this. Here, let's like dangle it up here. I really expected this to be work like everything else so far that's worked. All right, ready? It's like really not that. It doesn't really work, does it? Oh, dynamite is unimpressed by the pulse miner. Highly resistant to moving. Interesting. Not what I was expecting on that one. I wonder why. Like, what determines? Because like the landmine, it got shot all the way across the map. But the dynamite doesn't even move. Bomb bays are complicated because whether you want them to or not, when you trigger it, it releases 4 consecutive bombs. You can't just like isolate it to one. So we'll see if it affects the first bomb, and then we're gonna blow ourselves up with the rest of them. Okay, so if I don't do the pulse miner, that's what happens. Now, with the pulse miner, are these bombs gonna go anywhere? That does not look promising. I don't think the bombs are a viable tool for this particular exploit. Yeah, they don't respond at all. Is there anything I neglected to try out here? Like, these are all of the dispensing potential things. So like sea mines, air to surface torpedoes, I think are like the strongest potential for actually like enhancing the deadliness of the weapon or the capabilities of the weapon. I want to try to create a system for the air to surface torpedo launcher. But sea mines, air to surface torpedo, it does affect the depth charge, but it's not worth it, in my opinion. It doesn't affect anything here. It does, the landmines are kind of crazy how much it affects the landmines. And then of course, like number 1 is beach ball dispenser. Like nothing's gonna beat that. Dice dispenser is pretty cool too, but these aren't really weapons. All right, let's see. Is there any other like application we could use for this? I don't think there's any. What about like a normal block? If I just attach a block, what does it do to it? All right, let's see if this does anything. That was also kind of surprising. Here, let's give it a little platform. Huh. How strange. There must be some type of like game identifier for like a pulse, an object that can be affected by a pulse miner versus other objects, because these blocks are like just not affected. They're also like creations, like things that are on creations. The stuff that is affected is stuff that gets separated from the creation by its own mechanism. Dispenser, things that dispense other things. Like that's like almost exclusively, it seems like that's what they affect, because all of these dispense something from them. This dispenses something, and then of course the dispensers are literally named dispensers, so they dispense something. All right, so if I wanted to add this as a automated system for torpedo awesomeness, the question is, how can I get it to do the thing? Is it possible to launch torpedoes through this? Can I do this? Let's find out. Oh, that's big. That is big. I did not expect that to actually work. So then we could do... Wait. Excuse me. That was not part of the deal. Okay, so the delay is surprising. Oh, that was a good one. Oh, that was a good one too. There's got to, all right, so let's test out the timing. We're gonna put these now on the same control, and this is going to have a delay of 0.1. Let's see if that's... All right, that's too quick. So now we can dial in how much delay. 0.2. That looked pretty good. I want to get the quickest. 0.15. All right, 0.15 is too fast. 0.17. Whoa, 0.17 does it. How about 0.16? Whoa, 0.16. All right, let's see if it's reliable. Oh, hold on. We have an issue of differing recharge times. It's reliable so far. That's pretty reliable. 0.16 delay. So now, like, this becomes the weapon. Like, look at it from this perspective. That is so cool. I can foresee a potential problem with this is being in motion might be an issue because there's that delay. There's a 0.15 delay between launch and primary launch and secondary launch. And if you're moving, that might affect where the projectile is in relation to the pulse miner. And I don't know if it'll have the same result. Okay, now I got to make this on a turret and we got to see how reliable the accuracy is. This is quite a bulky system here. These are not small pieces. Also, how heavy are they? 5.8 kilograms and 6 kilograms. They're also not the lightest pieces. So being on an aiming servo turret, it might have some interesting physics. All right, I'm spawning in a template tank blueprint here, and I'm gonna delete its gun, and I'm going to add my gun. Look at this. And then ready? Ooh, okay. That's what I was worried about. All right, so if I'm stationary, obviously, actually seems pretty good. Here, let's aim at that cube over there. I actually hit the cube? Here, let's get a little bit. Oh, there's some over here. All right. All right, the suspension on this thing is kind of ridiculous. All right, ready? This thing is very accurate, it seems like. All right, and aim at that. I can't tell if I'm exploding on it. What am I exploding again? Oh, the dice. Oh, it's a die. Are the dice invincible? Oh, I went past it that time. Here, let's see. Oh, I got it that time. All right, let's aim for these ones over here. Destroy all of them. All right, so now what about like if I'm doing a side? This is what I'm worried about here is like sideways shooting. Okay, it's actually surprisingly still doing it, but the aim is way off to the side. You gotta like lead ahead. Does that make sense? Why is this like not making sense in my head? I would expect the opposite, because if I have forward momentum and I'm aiming directly at my target and then I shoot, under a normal circumstance, the projectile should continue with that forward momentum as it approaches. So we should be missing to the right of the target if I'm going in this orientation. However, because the projectile gets left behind a little bit and then push from the right, it seems to gear more even further towards the left. So we actually got to like reverse lead. Oh, that one didn't work. The diagonal doesn't work. That looks like it should work though. That one worked. It's really too bad that it needs a delay, because it would be so much better if it didn't. I don't know if there's really any way to fix that. But when we're stationary, I mean, this thing is like, it is a bullet. We're turning air-to-surface torpedoes into bullets. So if you had a slow-moving vehicle, see now, let me add some engines to this thing. I'm afraid that the faster you move, the less reliable the projectile is going to be. So we need some dragon engines. I'm just gonna slap a couple of these on here. There you go, that should definitely affect things. Perfectly normal. That always happens. All right, and then, boo! Yeah, that's the problem. Now what if I go forward? Whoa, okay, interesting. Oh, that one worked. Now, okay, now, is the delay necessary because of distance? Like the torpedo has to get a certain distance away from the pulse miner? Or is the delay necessary because the torpedo has to be existing for a certain amount of time? If it's a distance thing, we might just be able to swap places. Here, let me save this for now. If it's a distance thing, we may be able to move the pulse miner behind the torpedo launcher and get a better effect. Because then the torpedo will start well ahead of the pulse miner. And I gotta like change everything about this if I'm gonna make this work. All right, I'm gonna have to make some aesthetic sacrifices. All right, so now we got, obviously that works with the normal delay. Let's remove the delay completely and see if this is any better. All right, ready? Well, hold on. That's not encouraging, but let me make it so I don't have the aiming servo on all the time. All right, I want to be able to see what it's doing here. All right, it looks like it might be a time thing. So let me go to like 0.1 again. Does this change the necessary time? It's a time thing, it's not a distance thing. So my previous version is, I think, the best it's gonna be. So for a slow moving thing, this is definitely doable. It is kind of insane how much distance we can get out of these. But let's say, okay, let's try something here. I got in my blueprints, remember this thing? How does this work? All right. Yeah, this thing drives on a ball. So now this is just very random. But I'm just gonna add a pulse miner and see what happens when I'm on the ball and I shoot the ball. The ball is probably just gonna disappear. But will it affect me in any way? Is the question. Where can I put the pulse miner? I want to put it like right here. Or I'm just gonna delete this. All right, ready? I'm gonna lower myself on it. Okay, you ready? What's gonna happen? That's honestly not at all what I expected. That was really weird. Okay, hold on. What if I take the version that completely encompasses the ball? And then I put a pulse miner right there. All right, how's this one work? Okay, cool. And we lower it. All right, so now the ball shouldn't be able to escape. Here we go. All right, that's about what I expected. Yeah, so as far as the sound barrier challenge, like obviously these items, like the beach ball has to be breaking the sound barrier, but I don't think the beach ball is going to be able to propel us past the sound barrier. I don't think there's any hope of that. As far as landmines and air to surface torpedoes go, this definitely is a huge piece of information to know. I feel like there's got to be some type of long distance like target challenge that we can do. If you have any ideas on how we could use this for a multiplayer video, let me know down in the comments below. And if you guys enjoyed this, you'll probably enjoy some more stuff you can find right here on the end screen. Hope this video has earned your subscription. Anyway, this has been ScrapMan, and I'll see you next time. Bye.